Would you believe it if one of the most beautiful love stories in the Bible was actually a prophetic blueprint of the gospel? What if Boaz, Ruth, and Naomi were not just historical figures, but divine symbols pointing to the coming of Christ and the redemption of humanity? Today, we're uncovering the stunning prophetic parallels hidden in the Book of Ruth. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. The Book of Ruth is only 4 chapters long, yet it contains one of the clearest pictures of redemption in all of Scripture. Many Bible scholars and teachers have noted that Boaz foreshadows Christ, Ruth represents the Gentile church, Naomi represents Israel. Let's walk through the story step by step and uncover the prophetic masterpiece. Naomi begins the story in tragedy. She leaves Bethlehem because of famine, goes into a Gentile land, Moab, and loses her husband and both sons. She returns empty and bitter. This mirrors Israel's national story. 1. Naomi leaves Bethlehem during famine, just as Israel experienced periods of spiritual famine and exile. 2. Naomi becomes bitter and says, "Call me Mara." This reflects Israel's long period of suffering and spiritual bitterness after rejecting their Messiah. 3. Naomi returns to Bethlehem empty like Israel, being scattered and later regathered to the land. Naomi represents Israel in temporary loss and discipline, but not abandonment. God is not finished with Naomi, just as he is not finished with Israel. Ruth is a Moabite, a Gentile outsider. This is extremely important. Under the law, Moabites were excluded from the assembly of Israel. Yet Ruth becomes the heroine of the story. Sound familiar? 1. Ruth is a Gentile outsider, just as the church is largely made up of Gentiles who were once far off. Compare with, "You who once were far off have been brought near." 2. Ruth chooses Naomi's people, and God, her famous declaration, "Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God." This mirrors the conversion of Gentile believers who turn to the God of Israel. 3. Ruth gleans in the fields during harvest throughout Scripture symbolizes the gathering of souls. Ruth entering the harvest field foreshadows the great Gentile harvest during the church age. Ruth represents the redeemed Gentile bride being brought near by grace. Now we come to the central figure, Boaz. He is introduced as a mighty man of wealth, but more importantly, he is a kinsman redeemer. This is where the prophecy becomes breathtaking. In ancient Israel, a kinsman redeemer had to meet specific qualifications. Let's see how Boaz, and ultimately Christ, fulfills them. Requirement number 1, must be a relative. Boaz was related to Naomi's family, just as Jesus was to Israel. Jesus became human, a relative, through the incarnation. He became one of us to redeem us. Requirement number 2, must have the ability to redeem. Boaz had the wealth to redeem Ruth's inheritance. Christ had the perfect righteousness and divine authority to redeem humanity. Requirement number 3, must be willing to redeem. This is beautiful. Boaz was not forced, he was willing. Just as Jesus willingly went to the cross. "No one takes my life from me." Redemption was an act of love. Requirement number 4, must complete the legal transaction publicly. Boaz redeems Ruth at the city gate before witnesses. Just as Christ's redemption was public, at the cross, witnessed by the world. Boaz is one of the clearest Old Testament foreshadows of Christ as our kinsman redeemer. Now watch how the whole story fits together prophetically. The pattern is this: Naomi, Israel, experiences loss. Ruth, Gentile bride, is brought near. Boaz, Christ figure, redeems, a marriage occurs, a royal lineage emerges. This is not random. at the end of Ruth. Ruth and Boaz have a son, Obed, the father of Jesse, who was the father of David. This Gentile woman becomes part of the messianic line, ultimately leading to Jesus Christ. The outsider becomes part of the royal bloodline. Just like the church, once far off, is brought into the family of God. There is one more fascinating detail. Ruth meets Boaz during the barley harvest. Harvest imagery throughout Scripture points to gathering, redemption, and end time in gathering. Many teachers see this as a picture of the current church age, the great harvest of Gentile believers before Israel's full restoration. The Book of Ruth is not just a romance. It is a prophetic love story. It tells us that God has not forgotten Israel. The Gentiles would be brought near. A Redeemer would come. Redemption would lead to a bride. And the Messiah would emerge from this very line. 4 short chapters. Yet they whisper the entire gospel centuries before the cross.